What is going on today, guys? Yeah, I am fed up with this thing, but that's not why you're here. Today I get to show you the new car. So, a little backstory on this car that I picked up. I drove to Austin, Texas from Houston, so it's about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive depending on traffic, and drove it back. Everything was perfectly fine. I got it for a really good deal, and I'll explain that later. But it was one of those things I had to jump on. I wasn't really looking for anything quite yet, but I had to jump on this deal. Let me show you what I got. Alright, so here she is. This is a 2008 BMW 135i. This has the notorious N54 engine. Kind of clapped. Well, not really. It's actually in pretty decent shape, but it does need some work, and I bought it knowing that. So one of my favorite things about this car is you press the unlock button, and you get the old retro halos as like welcome lights. So walking around this thing, what's so special about these cars is you have the twin turbo inline six, but also you get some other goodies that you may not get on other BMW non-M models. Kind of like these 6-piston Brembos from the factory. Like I'm almost certain that every single model of the 135s, now not the 128i's, but the 135i's, they all came with these 6-piston fronts. So it's my understanding that BMW had trouble finding brakes that would fit this car. So what they did was they grabbed some of their bigger brakes and put them on here because it was cheaper to put these on than it would have been to come up with a whole new brake design. So that is what I hear the reason is for those. But aside from that, pay no attention to the terrible paint job on these wheels. But yeah, so walking around the side, it's a pretty clean car. It does have some paint fade on the roof here. I can't decide whether I want to paint that, just get the whole roof repainted, or whether I want to just like do a wrap on it, like a carbon fiber wrap or something. Walking down the side, super clean still. Yeah, these things just look great. Yeah, and previous owner had this M badge on here. That thing's going to be ripped right off. I'm not one for up badging anything. I also think it's weird that these cars only came with like a single outlet exhaust, like a dual tip, but on the one side. Like, I feel like that's kind of throws the look off a little bit. But coming around this side, still super clean. Like a small little dent here. Might try to see if I can get that PDR'd. Coming up around this side, still super clean car. Open the door here. It's got that full red leather interior. It's the sport seats as well. You can control the bolsters on these. They hug you tighter if you want them to. It's got some wear and tear, but really overall this is a nice car. All right, so getting in this thing, it's a really good shape. Yeah, it has this screen that pops out of the dash that looks horrible, but I'll show you that in a second. Just overall, just a really nice car, especially for what I paid for it. So a cool little touch here, year of the one. So year of the one right around the start button. So how you start this thing is you take the key fob, which this is just like a Chinese knockoff key fob. There's not even a cut key with it, but that's what I was given. So you push it in the dash, and then none of that, and then you hit the start button. So we do have some lights on the dash, but nothing too major. So we've got like a headlight out bulb, yeah, a bulb out light and a throttle man, I can't talk today. A tire pressure monitor inactive light, but other than that, no check engine lights, at least right now. Keep in mind this is a BMW and N54, so it doesn't have the best things going for it. Now I did walk around and check all the lights, and I can't find a single one out, so I don't know if it's just like a little dummy light or what's up, but yeah, I couldn't find anything out. So going over to the screen, this thing's supposed to like pop up, but like the screen is in such bad shape. I already ordered a new one, so that should be here. Well, it was supposed to be here yesterday, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be here quite yet. Now, this is one of the mechanical problems the car has. So you'll see, if I don't bump the mic, I don't know if you can see, but like the idle, yeah, I have PTSD over idles right now, but the idle will kind of like just do these little dips. You can feel it more than you can see it, but give it a little gas and it kind of evens itself out. And it'll just slowly get lower, about that like 600 to 650 RPM. If y'all are familiar with this issue, let me know. But other than that, it drives totally fine right now. Popping the hood on this thing, you gotta pull the lever here. Now I have to hold the hood up because the hood struts are blown. They won't stay up by themselves. But we have an AFE intake, and we also have some sort of charge pipe with it's like probably an HKS blow-off valve. I can't tell if it's a knockoff or not, but nonetheless, it sounds okay. Just did an oil change on the car. That's really important when you buy something off of an individual, even from a dealership. You're buying a toy, a project car, a daily driver, anything like that. Best thing you can do is probably just go ahead and change your oil, because you don't know how often the last person did it. Especially with buying cars on Marketplace, there's not a lot of paper trail as far as these things go. Especially when you're buying like a cheaper car that does need work already. But yeah, just a little piece of advice, just a little tip. Aside from that, I think this car has also been in an accident, because this hood is super clean. The fenders, the bumpers, the headlights, they're all like brand new, and this car has like 136,000 miles. But nonetheless, looks to be repaired in a very, very good way, if it was. But clean title car, no issues there. Let's take this thing for a little drive. So before I roll out of here, it's starting to look like Hoovie's garage. I've got that car, this car. I have the Acura, and then my brother's car. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure just about everything is broken at this point, like to a degree. So yeah, when you buy cars that need work, sometimes they all need work at the same time. All right, so setting down my road here, you know, there is a little bit of like suspension noise. Suspension's actually fairly soft on these cars. I was a little shocked by that. So it's pretty comfortable to drive. But one of the struts is making noise, so that'll definitely need replaced at some point. But man, this guy's flying. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a pretty solid car. I guess to tell you guys how much I paid for this thing requires a little bit more story time. So I went to go look at the car, and it was priced at $8,500. Remember, I drove to Austin from Houston, so it was a few hours one way. And so I went there to look at it, and you know, we had agreed on a price prior to me coming, and it obviously needed some more work than what I was led to believe. So I drove home. I didn't buy the car, but I still really wanted it. I couldn't find one of these, so we ended up negotiating on a price of $5,500. $5,500 for a running, driving 135i. It has a few minor things going on with it, but overall, pretty solid and stock. This thing really only has the charge pipe and the intakes. I mean, other than that, it is completely stock, and the suspension's kind of too soft over some of these bumps. Let me show you all this this blow-off valve sound. It's kind of childish, but at the same time, I like it. It just brings something out in me. So, y'all hear that? Just listen to this thing. H-gas blow-off valve. I ain't trying to go too crazy because the car's still warming up, but yeah, it's fun. All right, so we flip it over. We're in sport mode, and crazy thing about these paddles too is they go forward and backwards. So you push forward on either one of them, it's going to be a downshift. You pull back, it's going to be an upshift. But it doesn't matter which side you push up or down on, it's the same effect. So I can pull back on this side or pull back on this side, and it's still an upshift. And if I push on each side, it's a downshift. So you can upshift and downshift with one hand. I don't like it, but at the same time, I kind of like, I kind of understand. It'd be kind of nice to not have to, like when you're holding a camera, not have to, you know, shift with your left hand or whatever. But so we're in first gear. Go ahead and shift to second. See, that's what I'm talking about. I know, a little bit childish, but it is kind of fun. I think I will swap that out eventually because I'm gonna get annoyed with it, but maybe go back to tile. A lot of people just don't realize what these cars are capable of. Being a short wheelbase car, it is a lot of fun, especially with that same engine. I presume that these are going to start going up in value because these are way harder to find than any other N54 platform out there. These things are pretty solid. Now, granted, you're going to have some reliability issues, but nothing too crazy for, you know, for any, like, you know, do-it-yourself kind of person. For the most part, they're not that bad to work on. You know, I've worked on a little bit of everything at this point, and I would certainly not say that this is the worst. So, really not too bad. There's a lot of information out there online for these cars. I think I said the same thing about the Prelude, but that car has just been a nightmare, and I just don't have the time or the energy to work on it anymore. It was something that I thought I could tackle, and it should have been an easy fix, but I think that's why the previous owner was getting rid of it, because there's obviously something going on aside from the usual suspects that's causing that car to die and not idle. And yeah, that's for another time, but we'll see. I have it up for sale right now. See if I get any real bites on it. But I'm glad I was able to pick this thing up at such a good price. Let me know what these are going for in your area, because I can't find them around here. I can't find them around here at all. Like, I set my radius to like 150 miles, and I still couldn't find but maybe like 2 or 3 of them. And a couple of them weren't even ones that I would have purchased anyways. Alright, thank you guys for watching the video. If you have any suggestions on what I should do to the car first, let me know. Obviously basic maintenance is going to come first, but as far as which mods, let me know down in the comments, and let me know what you think I should really do to this thing. I think I definitely want to get the calipers painted and possibly do a wrap on this thing. I'm not entirely sure. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.